What is the crack, folks? Welcome along to a brand new episode of the Gym Advisor podcast with myself, Andy Collard. And on today's episode, I am delighted to be joined by Frederico Lopes. Frederico, how the hell are you?
Very good, very good. Very excited to be here finally.
Finally, yes.
It took a bit of time until we managed to get our agendas meeting, and it's good.
Yes, we finally arrived on a Saturday afternoon when nothing else is going on, so we finally did it. But come here, Fred. Look, you said as we were talking before, Andy, you'd listened to a few of these episodes. And anyone who's listened to a number of these episodes knows exactly what's about to happen. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Fred. I was born and raised in Azores, islands that belong to Portugal, middle of the Atlantic. Perfect place to grow and to be raised. You know, it's very much into nature. If you Google about it, it is really related to nature and that sort of stuff. So I was always surrounded with not physical activity like in like the fitness kind of sense, but I was always outdoors doing something, you know. So that's where I grew up and where I was brought up. Then a couple of years later, decided eventually to move out of Azores. A few years later, decided to move out of Azores. But yeah, in the meantime, I did quite a lot of stuff in terms of sports, and never really finding my true calling in terms of what sports and what type of sports, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't know if it's the same with you, but when I was growing up, like I never had that much of I was never much into physical activity, so to say. I was always out doing something, but I never was in a federated sport or something like that, you know. My mom and dad always tried to uh, push me to do something like that, but it was never something of my own interest until I kind of found uh, kickboxing by accident. Really, it was literally. I was with a friend after a night out, and he told me because apparently, like, his boss was a trainer of a kickboxing club, um, and he was kind of scared. Oh, my boss told me I should check his kickboxing club, but I'm kind of scared. Blah blah. Um, would you come with me, so at least I kind of feel a bit more integrated there? And I told him, like, I'm going there with you for about a week or two until you kind of feel integrated in the place. But then it's not really my thing, so I'm just going to say I'll leave, and then if you want to stay, you stay. If you want to leave, you leave. I never left. Let's put it this way.
Well, first of all, I love the way you phrase that. You found kickboxing after a night out with a friend. There's lots of young Irish lads who have found kickboxing after a night out too, just in a just in a very different sphere, and not so official. But so I like that you found kickboxing as an accident or by accident. Tell me what sort of effect has it had in your life, and what sort of like, why did you fall in love with it so much?
Yeah, it really changed a lot the person who I was. I'm a much more uh, confident person nowadays. Or after I started doing kickboxing, let's put it this way, much more social, much more communicative. Um, and before, like, for those who know me, for my childhood friends, they would know I was very much an introvert person. I wouldn't be very confident. I was overweight, like very overweight. um, and that all changed. Once you started kind of believing in yourself. Once other people tell you that, listen, you are actually kind of good at this, so uh, don't don't quit on it. And like I I started getting that message several times and all over again, like very recurrent. Let's put it this way. Um, and like it completely changed my the way I am today. I'm a lot more confident. I became a lot more happier with myself, with my own body. It's kind of a cliche message, but it was really like that. I there was no other thing for me when I found kickboxing.
I love that. Like, it just, you say it's a cliche, and some things are cliches and they're terrible, but there is a cliche out there of finding your there's something out there for everybody, and get
I think so too. Like most of the people that I see nowadays at the gym, um, um, they start doing physical activity because they have to. But then even then, inside the gym, there you can completely see that some people that never stepped a foot into the gym, that they found their passion, either if it's doing it workouts or cardio only, or muscular resistance workouts. Like it's it's really good to see that as well. Like everyone has their own place in fitness and in sports, I think.
Yeah, no, 100%. That it's kind of our message out there, and like particularly in terms of martial arts, it seems like people, anytime we've had someone on this podcast, or you just talk to them in normal life who has participated in martial arts, it seems to have not just been a sport to them. It's been very much a life. It can be a life changing thing because of the discipline and whatever else.
It is in the sense as well, and especially um, I know that not everyone is into competing, but once you, or if you give that a chance to compete, um, to be able to learn how to deal with the winning, with the losing, it it will play so much of a big role into your own life once you start being able to project those feelings, how to deal with the loss, not just in the ring, but in the real life as well. How to deal with the win, not just in the ring, but in the real life as well. And for me, that was the biggest part of it. The biggest thing to see that um, there were so many things that I was learning there that I could extrapolate to my life.
Mm. I love that in terms of the, like you said, the winning and the losing, and like you said, it's not just like kickboxing or martial arts aren't going to be for everybody, but there is something out there, and there's lessons in all of that as well in terms of the discipline, the motivation, keeping on the straight and narrow, all that sort of stuff, and the positives that come out of whatever fitness regime or tactic or whatever that you use. But I want to move on to something a little bit, and this is something you mentioned in passing, and I intentionally, before we started chatting and when we were kind of organizing this podcast, but I intentionally didn't ask any more about it because I wanted to hear and get the live reaction here. Talk to me a bit
Okay.
more about this. This, if I said two words to you, or three words maybe, Men's Health magazine.
It was it was an achievement. It was an achievement that I was uh, really surprised by. Um, but in the end, it was. I'm still proud nowadays. I still have a copy with me.
Talk to me. What happened? What is it? What's the crack?
So I was mentioned in an article in Men's Health magazine because of my loss of weight. Also due to that process, like since before kickboxing and when I was overweight, and then going through kickboxing, and then and um, because once I when I started competing, and like my first competition is in kickboxing, I was still a bit overweight, and I was still a bit on the heavier divisions. and I was never able to deal very well with my weight. But at some point, then I kind of um, started taking the right steps and did a massive transformation on myself. I was 132 kilos, and then went back to 96 or 98. I'm not 100% sure, but around those around that. And one day I had a contact from a girl who was claiming to be a journalist from Menzel, Portugal, that wanted to feature my story um, in the Menzel, Portugal. And I was like, at first I was kind of, is this real? Is this not?
Yeah.
Uh, kind of I need to see a little bit more of credentials or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but then yeah, she presented everything, and then I was thrilled and to serve as an example, that it can be done. It can be. Uh, I have the article there. Like if you want me to show you a picture, I don't know if it's visible or not in the video, but like it's for me it was such a important thing, to um, to be able to do it. Not so much for the visibility, but more so to show other people that it can be done.
There's a couple of good points in there. One is when someone DMs you because of all the stuff that's out there. Uh, Always don't be afraid to ask that extra question about who you are and make sure that they are who they say they are, because there are so many uh, spam bots and whatever else out there. So first of all, to make sure and do that, it's a really good point. But the second thing, then, when you get that opportunity to, to seize it, to take it, and make sure that your name gets out there, and then to, as you have since, turn that sort of the like kickboxing in, gave you the passion you talked about. When did you then decide to make this your profession?
So it was everything more or less around the same time, in terms of the article and the decision of making this into a business, so to say, and my profession. At the moment, it is my only source of income. Um, it was during maybe straight before the pandemic, because I'm a cabin crew of profession, and before the pandemic, things started to get really really uh, bad for the aviation industry in general. And I thought to myself, okay, I need to start to make a move and looking into different areas. And I had this going from the Man's Out magazine. It wasn't out yet, but the article. And I was looking into taking a course of some sort in the fitness industry as well, because it was something that I really enjoyed doing.
Hmm.
um, and I always had my, like, either friends or family members, like, asking for tips, for advice, for this, for that. And I said, okay, I'm just overthinking it. I'm just going to look where can I do a personal trainer course, um, and I'm going to do the course and just try and see if I can turn this into a source of income for me as well.
And you seem to have certainly seem to have done that. One thing that you do talk about a bit, and we've chatted about it going back and forth, is the idea of positive mindset, kind of as a whole topic, but more so in terms of how exercise can have on it. And then yeah, so how do you find exercise helps you keep a positive mindset? And then I want to delve deeper into how you think personal trainers and people in the industry can bring that out of clients as well.
Yeah, I think it's extremely important to I don't think that So in my opinion, it's not like I'm not always with the 100% positive attitude and mindset towards when, like, before going to a workout or before starting in a workout or my day, But I think after a good session, after a good workout, like, there's no way the mindset is going to be the same. Like, if I'm at my very best when I finish a good session, it's going to be even better. Do you know what I mean? If I'm not feeling great, or if I'm in a day that I'm feeling not very good, if I do a good session, or even if it's just a regular session, I'm going to feel the mindset is going to be much much better after that. So I think the sports itself and the physical activity is always extremely important um, for us to achieve um, a good mindset in our life, and then from there onwards to be able to do other things and to be able to achieve other things with our life. It's just a minor step. I had a client the other day telling me that um, we were discussing something related about the sweating not being related to fat loss, and we were talking something about that. And she was telling me, for me, it's not just the for me it's, it doesn't mean, like, I know that it's not related. The sweating is not related to the fat loss, but just the fact that I'm putting a good effort, and sweating and uh, finishing my session and knowing that I gave all out and did all my best to achieve a good session. For me, that's the best feeling I've ever had, and I can only thank you for bringing that out of me. And for me, that was such a great message. Like, um, you don't need. And referring to the point again of the mindset, she didn't need it, probably um, a great session to be sweating, and all she needed was um, to be there, and probably to be talking a bit, and to be like focusing on a thing to get rid of all of her problems, whatever they were that she had on the day. That at the end of the session, she was kind of feeling much better, I think.
The way you phrase that, I really like it, because you're talking there about, like, if a robot, if an automaton came into you and you would just go A, B, C, and D will get you to exactly where you want to go. That's fine. But people are fully rounded creatures. We have different goals, needs, wants, all that sort of things, experiences. And for someone like yourself, who's a PT in the industry, you have to adapt to those kind of things. That psychological need of, like, I know if I don't necessarily need to sweat to for fat loss,
Yeah,
but to give that person the feeling that they're getting their most sessions, that they want to
yeah,
feel that
yeah,
way,
and that I
is
think
is
I think
important.
yeah, I think that's it. I think it's for us, personal trainers is sometimes. I'm not saying all of the times, but sometimes is really important not um, to overthink it, and just towards or using that positive attitude with them, trying to extract as much as you can, and trying to push out from them as much as you can, so they can see that it can be done. Because most of the times, and especially with that client that I was talking about, what I've noticed, that she would lose the focus, like, in the first sessions that we've done together. She would, like, kind of lose the focus mid session, or not even mid session, and just be there, like, slowly and steady and doing her stuff. Fair enough, but, like, if I know that she can do more, I'm just going to try to pass that message to her with the best, like with the most positive attitude that I can, so she can realize that as well.
So when we talk about then about the personal trainer, as you said, pulling out the effort, pulling out the results from the client, is this a completely and utterly individual thing? Like, do you have to assess your client and say, I know what buttons to press to make that person feel more
Oh
positive, to
yeah,
make sure to
I
get the most out of them?
I first of all, I don't do that with all of my clients. Um, and second of all, I completely think that, or at least that's what I do. I try to assess them individually, and because there are no two equal personalities, um, I always try to take a couple of sessions first to see like where should I uh, address more, or what should I talk more to, or what should I demand more in order for the clients to first of all to feel more accepted and accomplished,
Hmm.
and second of all to be able for that client to give me more as well.
That's yeah, I like that, and I like the idea, as we've talked about loads of times in this podcast before, about the individualizing everything and making sure that you're not just providing a generic plan or a generic experience to people. But one thing that I know myself and yourself have talked about a little bit is how to make the industry more friendly to the client, maybe, or to make it more appealing to approach the industry.
Yeah.
What's give me your thoughts on that?
So I think at the moment, like the industry, it's changing a bit. Thankfully, it's changing a bit, but I think it's still very uh, direction and very like all you see in the Instagrams and Facebooks. It's still the models uh, and that scares people. That puts people off from training, from contacting a personal trainer, from like I have people. I had people trying or kind of afraid to reach me because they thought uh, personal trainers were only for those who wanted to achieve like a fitness model body, and that's a very like that's an extremely wrong idea.
Mm.
Uh, that's I would say that's probably the a very niche market for personal trainers, if you ask me.
Tiny piece, because we've talked about this before a little bit, just in terms of the for 99.999 recurring percent of people nearly, you're not aiming for that. Like, your body isn't what pays the bills. All you want to do is for it to be a little bit better than it was, and be able to provide yourself with a longer, happier life, play with the kids, all that kind of thing. So we, as you say, we need to make it a little bit more friendly, a little bit less intimidating, and obviously that's kind of what we're trying to do. But I don't want to make this talk too much about the gym advisors. How do you incentivize people to either approach the industry? What do you kind of think we should be doing?
If you think that you need help to reach to climb a set of stairs without getting out of breath, you probably need to reach a PT. That's all I say. A PT is for all those who want to have a better quality of life, and it's not that expensive. If you think you go on a weekend, you do a night out on a weekend, you'll spend a lot more than you spend on a PT, and the tools. And another thing is that once you reach when you reach a PT, is not to get stuck to a PT for life.
Hmm.
You reach a PT the same way as you reach I don't want to be putting myself in the shoes of any other of these professions. Don't get me wrong, but you reach a PT the same way you would reach a doctor, you would reach a engineer, you would reach a this. If you need help to, or if you need to get the tools to learn how to um, do a proper squat, do a proper deadlift, or if you're having troubles with mobility or whatever the issues are, um, a PT can give you tools to improve your body on how to lift the shopping bags from the floor properly without damaging your back. Uh, uh, Loads of stuff.
So I think what we're saying there is that like these are things that we already do in terms of when we get a client in the door. So maybe it's a messaging problem where we need to make sure that people are
Yes.
aware that
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not to get from 95% to 100%. Maybe it's to get from 50% to 55% or 50
I
whatever.
think there needs to be a clear message, or some of the PTs already do it and do it very well. I'm going to mention Orla because I think she's one of the persons that she has a very clear communication, and her Instagram is always on point about that, passing like myths and passing messages. And I think the industry in general needs to take those examples, and pass those examples, so we are not seen as as an industry that is fake. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. I like, and this is you talk about earlier. You're talking about Orla O'Brien there, who has already been on this podcast, is a member of the side, is a great listen on the podcast, and is a great coach as well. But just as a kind of a little bit of a refresher, I suppose, when you talk about Orla like that, that's the kind of person that we want on the side, because the more good people we have on the side, and just even on this podcast or whatever, the more people who are fighting that good fight and help break down those myths and get the messaging right, but also when someone gets in the door, that we're sure that they're getting a good experience, you know?
Exactly. Like I didn't mention the gym advisors, but that's probably the perfect definition on how things should be presenting themselves. Like it's the proper way to do it.
Well, will yeah. I hope that we are getting to that point. That's what I hope. Yeah, we're slowly but surely improving every day and all that jazz, you know. But look, we've talked a little bit there about kind of negatives of the industry a little bit, I suppose. What do you like about the industry?
What do I like the most about the industry? I like the most about the industry is that it's it's a big machine at the moment. There's a lot of people are really aware. Because of that, people are really aware um, of the importance of health, which is a good thing. If you look 10 years ago, you would see a lot of young people smoking, and nowadays it's I'm not too aware, to be honest with you, but I don't think, like, if I would probably, I don't know the numbers, I haven't looked the numbers, but I would say people are a lot more aware um, um, that you need, like, you need to be healthy. That there's an importance of being healthy more than ever with the coronavirus, with all of that jazz. Um, People, they know the importance of health, and I think it's very much so because of the big machine which fitness industry is.
Yeah, and I suppose one of the things that we need to be doing is making the big machine work on a small level as well. So on the individual level as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So as long as people are aware of it, and then we need to make use of that to make sure that people are actually getting healthy and getting fit, and making sure that we're living longer and better and all that kind of thing as well. What advice would you have for someone who is new to the industry, whether it's types of courses that you could do that you think are a waste of time, or that they're good, or what advice would you have for someone who is kind of very new to the industry, fresh out of a course and was wanting to already improve?
in my opinion, there's like the learning is always good. Sometimes is um, that's actually a question I wanted to reverse to you after as well. I'm going to give my intake and my opinion. I think it's very important to if they want to start in the fitness industry, to take either their combination course or their PT course. Um, if they have the opportunity as well, do it at a college level, for instance, um, because then the opportunities are better and much bigger. Um, I'm at the moment I'm really looking into a strength and conditioning course because I think it's a really important tool as well. Um, waste of time. I wouldn't put it as much into like waste of time, but like it really depends on your personal taste, on your won't I won't advise people to be doing courses if they don't like what they will be teaching. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't go on and doing a spinning course if you don't like spinning. Period.
It makes sense. It makes sense. And I suppose what I'm
Like, just to get the job at the gym, don't go on. Don't. That's my opinion. I will probably be put it in a cross for what I'm saying now, but that's my opinion. I'm not a big fan of spinning, for instance. I would never uh, never say never, but like it's not a priority. Let's put it this way.
yeah, and we all have we don't none of us have infinite time or resources. You got to pick what you like and what can provide you with a career that you enjoy and is prosperous and all that sort of stuff. I'm a bit worried here. You said about you were going to reverse this on me. Am I going to get asked my first
Yeah,
question
like
on
because but that's the thing. I really want to hear your intake of the question as well. Like, what do you think would be a good course, or what would be your advice for someone starting, or because I'm not I haven't started that long as well, like a couple of
yeah.
years.
So I suppose the point of the gym advisors is that I am not an expert and I ask the questions to get other people's input. But my hand on heart opinion, and again unqualified, unbiased in fairness because we don't have any partners in terms of qualifications or anything like that. My what you said in terms of obviously if you do it at a college level, you have a longer course. You'll probably get a more in depth feeling of what kind of the ins and outs of everything fitness related, whether that's just PT or if it's strength and conditioning or whatever. But the reality is, a lot of people are doing shorter courses. Some are better than others, from what I hear, and I'm only going off what I hear from our members and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I'm at with that, with those kind of courses. But the key for people who come out of those courses is whether it's 6 weeks, whether it's 16 weeks, whether it's 4 years. You are not a finished product when you get
Oh
qualified.
yeah, 100% agree with you. And that has to be the mentality, the key mentality of people on the fitness industry, and especially the newcomers. Is that you do your course, whatever it is, but it's not finished there.
Mm.
That's only the start.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You'll have to keep on, if you want to keep up to date, you'll have to keep on and have once again the positive mindset and the open mind to be able to get more knowledge and to keep improving yourself until there's more to acknowledge.
Yeah, there's always more. There's
Yeah,
always
that's
more.
it.
I think that's a nice place to finish the main body of the podcast. Just before we chatted, we I didn't get the songs in advance, Fred, but I want you to give me the 3 songs you want to add to our playlist. And from what
And
I hear, we are going very heavy on these.
yeah, we are. So first of all will be Save a Prayer from Eagles of Death Metal. The second one, Genesis from Deftones. And the third one was Nero Forte from Slipknot.
We are going very heavy to join Ramstein we've had on there and a few other different bits and pieces. So, but at the same time, we also have Pussycat Dolls. So we kind of it's very eclectic.
Exactly.
It's very eclectic.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. I love it. No matter what your type of exercise or type of workout you're doing, we have a song for you. So just go on Spotify, search that out, the Gym Advisors playlist, and that will appear for you. But Fred, people can find you, of course, on the gymadvisors.e/PT_Frederico. But you're also on social media and all that jazz. Where can people find you?
So Instagram and Facebook are my main sources. If you want to find me on social media, Instagram is PT_Frederico and Facebook as well, PT_Frederico. I'm normally mostly reactive through Instagram. Don't know why, don't ask me. I normally answer more through Instagram. And if you need any helps, any tips, just give me a shout through Instagram, and I'll be more than happy to answer back.
100%. And where can people find you in real life?
Oh, in real life, so I have my own small studio in OBrien as well, my own private thing, and yeah, around OBrien, I'll be doing my runs here and there with the OBrien Road Runners. It's my group. A big shout out to OBrien Road Runners.
Amazing, Fred. Amazing. Look, you have done this podcast in your second language, basically. So as a tribute,
I'm sorry if I did if there was any major mistakes.
You were absolutely perfect. But as my little tribute to you, and for some reason I do this at the end of every podcast, and I've never really drawn attention to it, but I'm going to draw attention to it. This is my little tribute. Thank you for doing this in your second language. You're absolutely amazing. You've been great to have great to have on, and great to chat to.
Thank you.
But to the rest of you, hasta la fitness, baby.